Cell replenishment department. She joined Toastmasters in March of 2010. Linda completed the Competent Leader Award in April of 2010. That's our CL award. She is here today to give her final speech towards the completion of her Competent Communicator Award. That's 10 speeches. But this speech is number 9 from the manual, and it is to persuade with power. The time on it is 5 to 7 minutes, and the title of her speech is Just Imagine. Help me welcome her to the lectern.
Just imagine if when a baby was first learning to walk, that baby got so fearful and frightened of the possibility of falling that it just gave up. I'm told that's exactly what I did. I started walking at 9 or 10 months old, and I walked around the room all day long. Things were going pretty well, and at the end of that day, I sat down and didn't walk again for 6 months. Now, I was also pretty fearful when I was learning to drive a car. And at 17, I didn't have a license yet, but I had had some driving lessons. My parents told me I could back the car out of the driveway. I got behind the steering wheel by myself, backed the car out of the driveway onto our 4-lane road, and found that I was facing oncoming traffic. I got out of the car. I walked into the house. I told my parents what had happened, and I didn't drive again for 8 years. I'm a chicken. And the only reason I drove again after 8 years was because a good friend took me through all of the things that I might encounter if I was driving, and gave me lots of tips and lots of help, and gave me a safe place where I could learn. So I know 2 things now today. I know that I get better if I practice. And I know that I need to practice in a safe place. I also know that my parents were probably pretty frightened with that young child walking for the first time, and certainly with that teenager that backed the car out into the driveway. And so they responded with fear and didn't necessarily provide me that safe place. Today I have a safe place where I can practice anything I need to practice, and I find those different places in my life. In my childhood, there were things that I was good at. School came easily to me. I could read. I loved to read. Math was pretty good, at least in the beginning. When it came to sports, oh my God, team sports, or anything that involved coordination, later on that included dancing, I was just terrible. And I had a lot of support for the things I was good at. Teachers said, oh, call on Linda. Linda's got the answer. Coaches avoided me like the plague. So I got better at the things that I did more of because I was practicing. And I got worse at the things I didn't do at all, like team sports and like dancing. Now, life had a trick planned for me, because when I was in my 30s, I became a mother. And I kind of thought that would come naturally. I mean, I'm a woman, I can be a mother. What, can't be that hard, right? But my daughter was born weighing only 3.5 pounds because of an inherited problem that I had in my pregnancy. So I started out as a failure. And you know from the way I handle team sports that if I'm failing, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to go near it. But I didn't have that option in motherhood because there was still a baby to take care of. So I had to do something that was difficult and impossible and that I had failed at already. And I had to practice. And I found that if I relied on the daycare workers, they gave me a lot of instructions. On other mothers, I took parenting classes. I read literature. I created a safe environment, and I got to practice motherhood. And my daughter will tell you, I'm still practicing motherhood today. And as I watched my daughter grow, I saw that as an infant, things don't come naturally. Not walking or standing or sitting. We actually practiced rolling over because she was a little developmentally challenged early in her life. And she got better because she practiced. And I had to provide a safe environment and hide my own fears, unlike maybe what my own parents did, and let her know that I wanted her to try, and I wanted her to succeed, and if necessary, I wanted her to fail in the process. Now later on, as she got older, my daughter took up team sports. Can you imagine some daughter of mine playing team sports? She went out for soccer and later for basketball. And again, she found a safe environment that was not real competitive. And she got out in the middle of a soccer field and in the middle of a basketball court where there are people on the opposing team that want you to fail. And she tried, and she practiced. And I saw that, and I was just amazed. My daughter trying, doing things that I had never even attempted at all, and trying and failing. And she's not going to ever be a pro sports player. But she has such fond memories of that. Not because she won, because most of her teams didn't win, but because she tried. And that encouraged me. I went back to school, and I got a bachelor's degree, and right after that I went in and got an MBA degree. And that was difficult for me. I also learned that things like water aerobics and yoga are great places to get physical coordination without the problems of team sports. And what happened was when I had been with the company that had provided a career for me and sent me back to school, at 23 years they laid me off from that job, and I had to come to American Greetings. Talk about scary. But again, my daughter is always an example to me, and I see so many people trying. And I came here and learned a new way of thinking, a new way of doing things, all those little acronyms that we use here. And I learned a lot about Excel and Access, which to me are still about manual dexterity and point and click and pull. And after I'd been here a couple of years, I tried another scary thing. I tried Toastmasters. And I had some public speaking skills, but one of the things that happens is if you're new in a job, you don't get that opportunity. And also, if you're busy with a career and a family, you don't even get a chance to socially interact with people. So I got a chance to socially interact with people from inside and outside of AG. I got a chance to do some networking, and I got a chance to improve my skills. Now, if you have dreams and you have goals, like I do, and that are still unfulfilled, we need to identify those goals together. We need to work to push ourselves towards our goal. And if Toastmasters could be part of that goal, that's great. If you want to learn leadership roles, organizational roles, anything that's going to help you in your life, and so much of it is about your personal life, not just about your work life, then Toastmasters is the place to be. If it's not Toastmasters that you need, then find something else. If you want to travel, or if you want a different career, or a hobby, or if you want to work in environmental studies, or if you want to work with your charity or your church, some of these things Toastmasters can help with, and some of them you need to go completely outside of that. But we need to start, and we need to start today. Just imagine where we could be tomorrow if we started today.